So there's this lady I have been following for almost a year now on my Delight with Doris page. Um, she's a homeschool mom. In her bio, she says she's a teacher and a homeschool mom. And I started following her when I saw one of her video on teaching your child to read. And at that time, that's when we first started to teach Madison how to read. We stopped because she wasn't ready. She would just cry every time she started reading material. And I was not going to keep fighting with her knowing she wasn't going to take anything in because she was upset. She was mad. She had a mindset on that. She didn't like to read. So we decided to stop, and I never actually used her video on teaching Madison how to read. When it's time to teach Madison how to read, I decided to use alphaphonics and use the old school way of teaching Madison because that was her learning style. Anyway, this lady posted a video that said your child need to learn how to read before they hit kindergarten or first grade. They need to be above grade level than the grade they're going into. If you have the time to take your child to get their hair done, if you have the time to go homeschool supply shopping, if you have the time to basically do anything fun, you have the time to make sure your child knows how to read. Okay? And then she made a rebuttal video when people started commenting on her first video saying this video was specifically made for Black family. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh here. But I'm sad. So usually I'm sad I go to laughing. But I am tired of people that have a influence and have a huge follower on saying that Black boys and girls should not be children. Because that's what they are. They are children. Children should not be learning, should not have formal education until they're the age of 7. Children are not developed, they're not mentally ready to be learning how to read. All children learn at different stages in life. So yes, you may have a 3-year-old that's ready how to read, and you may have an 8-year-old that's not ready to learn how to read. Because children are different. Okay? One shoe does not fit all when it comes to children. But all children deserve to have a childhood. All children deserve to have the innocence intact. All children deserve to have joy. All children deserve to learn through play. All children deserve to play when you're little. Okay, so pushing the narrative that because you're Black, and then she explained why, as a Black parent, you need to make sure your child was on grade level or 2. Because 1, you don't want your child to experience racism. Because the prison, the pipeline system exists. Because your child be labeled as bad. And she lists all this stuff. That yes, those stuff are valid. Those stuff does exist. But those stuff should not dictate and tell Black parents to kill the joy and innocence out of the child because you have a person that's uneducated, a person that's racist against that child. That person is not going to change being a racist because that child is smarter. Or that child, or that you have the nice car, the nice house. If that person is racist, they are going to be racist. So our job as a parent is not to kill our childhood because we're trying to fit into a bubble that a racist person creates. Okay, and that is what she's saying, oh, if you don't want this to happen, if you want your child to be successful, you need to do this. No, if you want your child to be successful, you need to create a strong foundation. Forcing them to read when they're not ready creates a person that hate reading because they're going to associate that with trauma. Children learn on a different level. Forcing a child and comparing a child to another child damages that child. So telling a Black parent that's already dealing with a lot of crazy stuff, we're dealing with. We don't need to be killing our Black beautiful boys and girls, joy and innocence out of them. Because we're trying to conform to a racist standard. We're trying to conform to a public school standard that's only focused on passing tests and getting funny. Not focused on the whole child. You as a parent, that's your job, to focus on your child. Not to focus on what the public school or what the government think. And yes, I have the privilege of homeschooling. Okay, so you may say, well, you have the privilege to do that and that. But even if my kids was in public school, I would still make sure I'm focusing on the whole child instead of focusing on the standard of the public school system setting. Because I know my child. I have that child. I know them around the house. I know what they like and dislike and how to learn. And that's, if you don't, that's something you need to learn about your child. So my job as a parent is not to kill that joy out of that. Black boys and girls deserve to have a child who has their white counterpart. Black boys and girls deserve to enjoy nature as their white counterpart. Black boys and girls deserve to have imagination, to have the time to create imagination and not be forced out of death. Not for that to not be taken away. So I'm tired of people putting a narrative saying, oh, for you to be for your child, for your black child to be successful, they have to do this and this and this. No. For a black child to be successful in life, they have to have a strong foundation that comes from their parents. They have to have a caring. They have to have fun. They have to have imagination. Because, people that have imagination create stuff. They create businesses. They create new technology. We need to foster that imagination. My son, Sonny, he's 7. He's about to turn 8 in November. Okay. He don't know how to read his grade level. He don't know how to read. He's still learning his phonics sound. He still stumbles on stuff. But you know what that boy knows? Every single part of the body. The bones. The cells. Muscles. The part of the brain. He knows the whole anatomy of the body. And I've been talking to my college lab course for my anatomy too. And we're doing a brain dissection. And he was able to name all the parts of the brain. He was able to watch the procedure and help with observing how the brain was cut and the way it was cut and observing all that stuff. And he knew every part of it. But he knew more than me that had a exam. Because he's interested in that. I saw that he was interested in that. So I have books and things around the house. Videos. To foster that creativity, that love of the human body that he found. Because he wanted to be Iron Man. And he believed the way to be Iron Man is to know every part of the body. So he wanted to learn every part of the body. He'd rather do that than learning how to read. Now he want to know how to read because now he want to read anatomy books. So now he's learning how to read. Madison that learned how to read when she was 8. Okay, 8. That's when she was finally able to learn how to read because she didn't want to learn how to read and we had to keep stopping and starting back up. And then she just had a meltdown and then we started back up. And yes, I know that's a privilege I have as a homeschooler. Okay, but Madison yesterday I had to take this book from her. Okay, because it's part of homeschool curriculum that she's going to use next year. I don't want her to read through the whole thing. I had to take this from her. She was reading and she was able to narrate what she read. She learned how to dissect the information because she have a love of reading. Her love of reading wasn't killed by me forcing her to do something that she wasn't ready, that she was not ready for. This is another book that she can read through. Okay. This is another book. These 3 books are books I took from her yesterday. That's why it was handy for me to grab because I put it on the dining table and I left it there and I would drop it to grab my hand and went to work. So I was able to grab these 3 books for this video. This is the latest book that she's reading. And she have a book in her hand everywhere she's reading. Because she have the love of reading. Because I create a foundation. But not killing her joy. But not killing her childhood. But not taking her innocent away. But allowing her to enjoy life just as the white counterpart. Allowing her to be a child, which she is. So please, stop trying to kill the joy out of black boys and girls because you think if you have the standard that a person that's racist is not going to be racist against that child. Because at the end of the day, they will be racist against that child. So our job as a parent is to love our kids, to foster the love of learning. Because if a person loves to learn how to read, they actually move a grade level faster than a person that's forced to learn how to read. So please, enjoy your black boys and girls. And do not force them. Do not take the joy out of their childhood.